Hi everyone, it's our writing time. So we've been working on stories about our life. Today I want to show you a tool to help you make sure that your story has all the parts that we would need. So we have this tool called our story hand. And you obviously can use your hand to help you remember this stuff as well. But this one has the pictures to help show us. So when we're thinking about our story hand, first we're going to think about our thumb. So our thumb helps us remember that we need to include who is in our story. So we need to include those characters. So I'm going to think about a story as I plan out mine on my story hand with you today. So on our thumb, we're thinking about our characters. So in my story, it's going to be me and my husband and my daughter and my son. So that's who is in our story. Our next finger, our pointer finger, shows, and here it shows a barn. What that means is our setting. Where are we? So for my story, I'm going to be outside in a bunch of trees near some water, so near a lake. So we have who's in our story, we have where it's happening. Next you see that our next fingers, it has a 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. That shows us to think about including at least 3 things that happen. So in my story with my family out in the woods near a lake, my first thing that's going to happen is we set up our tent and all of our camping stuff. Then we go fishing. So that's my number 2. My number 3, down on my pinky, sorry, it's hard to do it with my fingers all up. Down on my pinky, my number 3 is going to be going back and building a big fire for us to cook dinner. So in my story, I have my family out in the woods near a lake. We set up our tent, we go fishing, and then we build our fire to make dinner. On the palm is how we feel. That's our heart. So this makes us think about how did we feel? How are we going to let the people who read our stories know what we were feeling at that time? So for my feeling, I would add in how we were happy and smiling. I could put that even in my pictures because we were having a lot of fun. And in the fire part, I can show that we're sitting close to the fire and that it was making me feel warm. So the heart helps us remember to add our feelings into our story too, whether it's in the picture or with words. So use this story hand to help figure out a story for you today. So right now, stop and think. Who is going to be in your story? What is the setting? Where is your story happening? What's the first thing that you're going to tell about happening? What's the second thing you're going to tell about happening? And what's the third thing you're going to tell about happening? And how are you going to show your feelings in your story? Awesome, so you already have a great ideas for your story. I do want to add one thing. As we look at this, we have 1, 2, 3 things that happen. We can have more than that. We just want to make sure there's at least 3 things. That means we have to have 3, but we might have 4 or 5 or 6 or even more, just depending on what our story is and how much was going on. But we should have 3 things at least to make a good story. So now try to plan out and think, what is happening in your story, and include all these things. And then go draw it out in your books. Keep up the good work, writers.